How to fix Valorant VAN 9003 Secure Boot Error. Welcome back to Teknobalta. During our recent hardware testing, we encountered the notorious VAN 9003 error in Valorant, specifically stating that this version of Vanguard requires UEFI Secure Boot to be enabled. This error frequently plagues modern systems running Windows 11, even on high-end configurations equipped with the latest components. Our technical team launched a full investigation into the firmware layer to uncover exactly why Vanguard fails to recognize an active secure boot state. Through extensive diagnostics, we mapped out a comprehensive blueprint to permanently resolve this conflict. Today, we are sharing Teknobalta's exclusive, step-by-step resolution protocol to get you back into the game without compromising system security. Solution 1. System Information Diagnostic. We began our investigation by verifying the operating system's exact read on the BIOS state. By pressing the Windows key and typing system information, our technicians opened the diagnostic panel to cross-reference the secure boot state. Our analysis revealed a critical discrepancy where the system reported secure boot as off, despite it being supposedly enabled at the hardware level. Solution 2. Vanguard Service Integrity Check. Before altering motherboard parameters, Teknobalta recommends checking the Vanguard background service configuration. We opened the Services app and located the VGC service to ensure it was not fundamentally corrupted by previous boot cycles. Restarting this service manually provides a clean slate for Vanguard to attempt communication with the Windows kernel. Solution 3. BIOS Entry Protocol. To address the hardware mismatch directly, our team initiated a system reboot and repeatedly tapped the F2 key to access the UEFI BIOS utility. Different motherboard manufacturers might assign the delete key, but the objective remains identical across all platforms. Entering the Advanced Mode interface gave our technicians the necessary privileges to manipulate the core firmware security protocols. Solution 4. Disabling Compatibility Support Module. Our testing showed that Vanguard strictly requires a pure UEFI environment to function properly and read security states. We navigated to the boot menu and ensured that the Compatibility Support Module, commonly known as CSM, was completely disabled. This action forces the motherboard to drop outdated legacy support and prioritize modern UEFI security standards. Solution 5. Initial Secure Boot Verification. Teknobalta's hardware specialists then moved to the Security tab to inspect the secure boot parameters. Interestingly, the BIOS interface explicitly displayed Secure Boot as enabled, directly contradicting the Windows System Information readout we observed earlier. This phantom firmware state is exactly the anomaly that triggers the Vanguard VAN 9003 violation. Solution 6. The Key Management Discovery. During our deep dive into the firmware architecture, we discovered that the error stems from corrupted or missing cryptographic platform keys. We navigated directly into the Key Management submenu, which is usually located directly under the Secure Boot configuration page. This specific menu controls the digital signatures that Windows uses to verify hardware trust and anti-cheat compliance. Solution 7. Restoring factory keys. Our major breakthrough came when we decided to completely flush the existing cryptographic state of the motherboard. We selected the Restore Factory Keys option and confirmed the prompt to overwrite the current variables. This critical action forces the motherboard to inject a fresh, uncorrupted set of signature databases, including the vital platform key. Solution 8. Committing firmware changes. After successfully restoring the factory keys, it is crucial to properly commit these changes to the CMOS memory. We pressed F10 to trigger the Save and Exit dialog, ensuring our new key management configuration was permanently written to the board. The system automatically rebooted to apply the updated firmware parameters and initialize the new keys. Solution 9. Post-reboot verification. Teknobalta always verifies hardware changes at the software level to guarantee success before launching any applications. We open the System Information panel once more to check the updated Secure Boot state. The readout successfully updated to on, confirming that Windows finally recognized the motherboard's native security configuration. Solution 10. TPM Module Diagnostics. Secure Boot is only one half of the strict Vanguard security requirement on modern operating systems. We press the Windows key plus R, typed TPM, MSC, and hit Enter to open the Trusted Platform Module Management console. Our technicians verified that the specification version clearly read 2.0, fulfilling Vanguard's advanced cryptographic prerequisites. Solution 11. Activating firmware TPM. If the previous step yields a missing module error, our diagnostic blueprint requires re-entering the BIOS to enable the hardware trust processor. For Intel systems, we activated Intel PTT, and for AMD architectures, we enabled fTPM within the CPU configuration menus. Saving these changes ensures that the operating system can fully authenticate your hardware security layer. Solution 12. Master boot record conversion. Our engineering team noted that UEFI Secure Boot strictly requires a GUID partition table format to operate seamlessly. We launched the disk management utility to verify that the primary Windows drive was formatted as GPT rather than the legacy MBR structure. Systems running on MBR must use the official Windows MBR2 GPT tool to convert the drive without risking data loss. Solution 13. Disabling Windows Fast Startup. We discovered that the Windows Fast Startup feature can sometimes cache outdated firmware states, causing Vanguard to read old security data. We navigated to the power options in the control panel and permanently turned off the Fast Startup feature. This forces a clean kernel initialization on every boot, preventing any phantom BIOS readouts. Solution 14. Vanguard Deep Reinstallation. If the VAN 9003 error persists despite firmware corrections, the Vanguard software itself may be holding onto corrupted configuration files. Teknobalta recommends using the Add or Remove Programs utility to completely uninstall Riot Vanguard from your storage drive. Launching the Riot client afterward will trigger a fresh, uncorrupted download of the entire anti-cheat engine. Solution 15. VGC Startup Type Modification. We optimized the Vanguard service to prevent startup timeouts during heavy system resource loads. By opening the service's application and right-clicking VGC, we changed the startup type from manual to automatic. This guarantees that the anti-cheat module initializes alongside the Windows kernel perfectly every single time you turn on the computer. Solution 16. Firewall exclusion protocols. Aggressive network security can sometimes block Vanguard from verifying your newly fixed secure boot status with the official Riot servers. We added explicit outbound and inbound rules within the Windows Defender Firewall for the Vanguard executable. This ensures completely uninterrupted communication between your local hardware and the anti-cheat validation servers. Solution 17. Disabling Hyper-V virtualization. Our laboratory testing revealed that certain Windows virtualization layers can mask the true secure boot state from third-party applications. We opened the Turn Windows features, on or off menu, and completely disabled Hyper-V, as well as the virtual machine platform. Removing these isolation layers gives Vanguard direct access to your motherboard's firmware telemetry. Solution 18. Updating motherboard BIOS. An outdated BIOS version can contain inherent bugs related to secure boot key management that no software tweak can fix. Teknobalta advises visiting your specific motherboard manufacturer's official support page to download the absolute latest firmware revision. Flashing the BIOS via a USB drive ensures maximum compatibility with modern Windows 11 security requirements. Solution 19. Resetting CMOS battery. For motherboards that stubbornly refuse to save secure boot keys, a physical hardware reset is our ultimate fallback protocol. We safely disconnected the system from power and removed the circular CMOS battery for 5 minutes to completely flush all volatile memory. Upon replacing the battery, we repeated the restore factory keys process with absolute success. Solution 20. Final Valorant launch test. With all hardware and software layers perfectly synchronized, our team launched the Riot client for a final diagnostic run. We bypassed the VAN 9003 error entirely and successfully loaded directly into the main gameplay menu. Our testing confirms that following this comprehensive methodology will permanently resolve the secure boot conflict on your machine. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.